So I've got a camping weekend coming up, camping cruise weekend coming up in about, well, not this weekend, the following, so less than 2 weeks. And I'm going to take the 55, so I'm going to pull this thing out, blow the dust off it. It's really been neglected since I've been obviously trying to get this thing on the road. This thing isn't far off. I'll do another video on this soon, just to sort of go through what I've done and where it's at. It's in a good place now, soon for a roadworthy. I've been driving the 74 a little bit, just went to a swap meet last weekend. There's a video on that, so go and check that out. Yeah, so that's just been enjoying the 74. But now I'm going to get onto this. So what do I need to do? I've got to put the, I've taken the coil off it, the old Master Blaster 2 MSD. I was trying to figure out some issues with the 68 F250. So I stole that out of the 55 to try to solve those issues. So I've got to throw that back in, no biggie. I might even check the lash, solid cam. So I'll actually do that. I haven't done that for a while. And what else? Oh, I've got a set of plugs for it. Let's give it a bit of a tune up, see how she's running, make sure everything's ticky-tock. Give it a bit of a clean. And I did actually find the cam card, believe it or not. So I didn't think I still had it. So here we are, the old comp cam. Comp cam, nostalgia grind, 3030. So yeah, solid cam. So I'll get the old feeler gauges out, the old 3030. There we go, basically, that's why they call it a 3030. So basically both valves, intake and exhaust, are 0.12, which is 3030, which is why they call it a 3030 cam. There you go, so I'll do that. I'll probably give her an oil change, and yeah, just go through it, throw it on the hoist. I've got to do something with the front shocks, actually. So got some 9010s in the front and the bottom mount. So it was a bit of a rush to get this thing on the road last year for another drive that I went on, and those bottom shock mounts weren't ideal. So those bolts, as you can see, aren't actually, they're on the edge of that mount, which I'm not happy with. It looks like they're still on there, which is a good thing, but I will fix that. I'll throw that on the hoist. I'll give you guys a walk around underneath and just show you what I'm doing there. Oh yeah, the other thing that happened was the top shock mount. You can see. Anyway, it's too dark, but yeah, the top shock, the rubber boot or the rubber bushing and the top shock cap and obviously nut flew off. Just like I was on the way home from this massive run, and it was just around. I was just so close to getting home, and then I hear this ding 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 as I went over a train line, and it was just the top shock mount. So that's no biggie. I think I've got a couple of old shocks there. You can see what's missing on the other side, which is essentially that. Shocks are still okay. I've got some old shocks there, so I'll find some bushes. And I actually found the cap, believe it or not. I went back a couple of days later and it was sitting on the road, so that's a good thing. So yeah, look, I'll do all those things. I'll do some videoing of all those things that I do, and we'll catch up with you soon. Alrighty. So I've just done all the lashes, just lashed it all. So yeah, rockers are all buttoned up. Pretty straightforward. I actually use the EOIC method. Exhaust open, intake closed. So you basically just start, I normally start at number 1, but you can start anywhere you like. So you sort of turn the engine over until that's the exhaust on a small block, so until the exhaust is open, and then you do the intake, and then you turn it over until the intake is closed, and then you do the exhaust. I just go from front to back and then start on the other side. You can do firing order, and I believe if you do firing order, you don't have to turn the engine over as many times by hand, which is actually a pain in the ass, but that's the way I do it. There's a few ways of doing it, but a few different methods. So what do we got? Yeah, throw the valve covers back on. I've got to put the coil back on, haven't done that yet. I'll throw a set of new plugs in it, which I've got them. I ordered them actually months ago. And then, yeah, throw some fuel in it. The fuel's probably a bit old, so I may have to drain that out and put some new stuff in it. And then we'll fire up. Bang, bang. All right, so let's see if we can start it. I haven't started this. Well, this is the first time I'm starting this for months. So I doubt that there's any fuel and carby in the bowl. So let's throw some down there. See what we've got. Get a light. All right, let's give it a go. Go. All right. That was pretty easy. A little bit of a leak there. I'll fix that. Sounds pretty good. Got it outside, and I'm just checking the idle mixture screws with the vacuum gauge. So I'm just going to adjust them. Well, I actually adjusted them all the way in, and then as a baseline, and then adjusted them about 3 half turns out on both sides. So what I've actually got is, let me just start it up and I'll explain what I've done. So she's at about 160. Idle's a bit low actually. Might have to bump it up a little bit. That's about 800. That's about what I want. So I've got a bit of a cam in it. The vacuum gauge is not that accurate, but what I'm trying to concentrate on is trying to get the highest vacuum by adjusting the idle screw. So I've turned them pretty much all the way. Well, I've turned them out, trying to get the highest reading. I got to a point where it was actually dropping it back in, so then I ended up turning it back in. And I ended up with about 2 half turns out on both sides to get where I am now. And that seems to be alright. Seems to be like a bit of a sweet spot. I haven't taken it for a drive. But sounds nice and crisp. So we'll see. There's an oil leak down here. We'll fix that. It's a rocket cover gasket. But yeah. So far, she's idling good. Set the idle mixture screws. Plugged the, or gaffed the plugs, I should say. New plugs. BP5S's in it. They're a bit hot. I'm actually going to get some BP6S's, run a little bit cooler, because those old plugs looked a little bit too rich. I'll see how that goes, just because it's got a big cam in it. I did a compression test, and I'm looking at about $1.50 on each pot, so that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I think number one was like 160, but the rest were consistently $1.50. So yeah. So I let the car cool down, let the engine cool down, took the plugs out, and I'll show you what I've got. So essentially, these are the original plugs that I pulled after probably about maybe 50 odd Ks, 60 Ks, actually probably a little bit more of driving. So not too, a couple of them aren't too bad. Like what, 3 and 5. Number 1, maybe a little bit rich. So these are BP5Ss, NGKs. So what I did, you would have seen in that last little clip that I just adjusted the idle mixture screws with the vacuum gauge. I've actually never done that before with a vacuum gauge, so it seemed to work actually. The jets, so it's a 650 double pumper. The jets are 66s up the front, which is, I believe, standard, or as it comes out from the factory. I think they come 66 in the primaries, secondaries are like 70 something. So this is just fiddling with the mixture idle screws. Now it's a little bit inconsistent, which is a bit interesting. So what are we looking at here? Looking at standing at the front of the car, let's say, you know, by the radiator, 1357 on the right and then 2468 on the left. 135, it's a little bit lean. The back ones, 8 and 7 are a little bit rich on number 8 actually. Number 7, a little bit better. 4 and 6 and even 2. I don't think it's too bad. But I'm not sure. It looks like I need to adjust, give it a little bit more fuel on bank right. Now I'm not sure if by just adjusting the right hand side idle mixture screw out a little bit, just to sort of give it a little bit more richness, will actually affect the right bank of the engine. So if anyone knows, let me know. But I might try that and then give it another crack. These are, again, both sets of BP5Ss and GKs. They're actually a hot plug, and this engine, with the cam in it, you know, it's gonna create a bit of compression. So I might go. Well, I have actually bought some BP6Ss, which are a little bit colder, and I might try that. Failing the idle idle mixture screws adjustment. So I'll just do another adjustment on them and see how we go, and then I'll throw those colder plugs in and see if they make a difference. I'm also going to buy some new jets if it's still a bit rich. I might go the 66s at the moment. I might go 60. They reckon go 2 down or something like that. But then I'm thinking, well, you know, if you go too close, do you know if there's any difference at all? So yeah, anyway, I might buy a few different sets and try them out. But yeah, slowly getting there. Alrighty, so got the old girl on the hoist, just doing a bit of a inspection on before the big run next weekend. Everything looks pretty good. I did notice this top shock mount is a little bit loose. There is a bit of a rattle. It's when you hit a bump, there's a bit of a knock or a rattle or something. I'm hoping it's just the top shock mounts. They're a little bit loose, both of them. Could be that dust cover just tapping away as well. Everything else looks good. She's got the old Lakewood traction bars. Everything else looks actually pretty sweet. I've got the old electric fuel pump from the mechanical fuel injection days. You can see where I've relocated the battery to the boot. I've tried not to drill any holes, any extra holes in this car, and just utilize all the holes that were already in it, whether they're original or put on by someone else. I made this tail shaft loop that just bolts to, again, existing holes. I don't know where that's bolted. It doesn't look like it's bolted at all. Oh, there we go. Probably not enough bolts in that, to be honest, but yeah, removable. Might throw another couple of bolts in that just to hold it in. You can sort of see there where I've just welded a bracket onto the RHS, and then you can just remove that loop easy enough. No big oil leaks, which is good. Sump looks pretty dry. Muncie looks all right too. Oh yeah, you can see here the old mounts that I made for the straight axle that I had in it. So they're the rear mounts that bolt to the chassis. And I left them in there because, well, they're not actually, in the way. And, thought I'd leave them in there for a bit of conversation. So the main thing I want to do, apart from just checking everything, is you can see here, I was in a bit of a rush to get this car together for a run that I was on a few months ago, or actually maybe 6 months ago, but you can see how those holes, or that mounting tab on the bottom shock is not good. So I need to just do something with that. I'll fab a little ring on there, a little sort of washer style thing, and tick it on, and those bolts won't, or that won't slide side to side. Not that it's actually moved, but I don't want it to. It's a little bit sus. I'll give it a grease and go over everything. I put the original drums back on this thing, actually. It did have discs when I first bought it with drop spindles, but I don't like how it grows the track. I like the narrow track. So, and the original drums obviously have just a narrower track than the drop spindles, which grow, I think, about 1 inch. So they went back on, all new brakes, they're all adjusted. I don't mind drum brakes. I think they work all right if they're maintained and adjusted. Yeah, so everything looks good. Everything looks Mickey Mouse. I'm giving it a bit of a clean. Unfortunately, I live on a dirt road, so the first thing that gets dirty and shitty is the fender well headers, which is unfortunate, and given that they're white, it's even worse. But that's such is life. Looks like I've got a bit of a exhaust leak there. This is the exhaust system that I fabbed up. So these brackets just bolt on. This one might be easier to see. So these brackets just bolt onto that original, here we go, that original cross member. Again, using those 3 original holes. And then I've actually welded a tab onto the actual exhaust itself, and then sandwiched with a bit of rubber. So yeah, that's I guess essentially the middle mount, and then there's the end mount. It's just it exits just in front of the rear tyre, and then does a bit of an S-bend around that cross member, and then back into the fender well header. So I've got a blank off there, and then just a flange there. So seems to work all right. Sounds pretty good. I do get fumes in the cab, which is a bit shitty, so I'll have to work something out about that in the future. I'll give her an oil change, and we'll go from there.